The SR-72 Darkstar was featured in Top Gun: Maverick and looks like a Mach 10 monster. However, the question audiences kept asking is if the plane is actually real. We have been writing on this for some time and asked a top expert to separate fiction from reality. Last month, Sandbox News broke the story that Lockheed Martin's legendary Skunk Works team was directly involved in the development of a full-sized mock-up of the hypersonic Darkstar aircraft featured in Top Gun: Maverick. We reached out to Lockheed Martin about the aircraft, and while they were willing to confirm their involvement, Skunk Works lived up to its secretive reputation by offering us little more than a wink and a nod. Hypersonic is a term used to refer to weapons or aircraft that can travel at speeds in excess of Mach 5, or around 3,838 miles per hour. By combining maneuverability with this degree of speed, hypersonic missiles are considered impossible to intercept using current missile defense systems, which suggests hypersonic aircraft would be similarly difficult to bring down. There seems to be much more to this story than a cool-looking imaginary airplane, and the truth is, Darkstar may not be as fictional as you think. In fact, Lockheed Martin has been working on just such an aircraft for a long time now, and although they've purged their website of any mention of it, we managed to dig up some interesting bits of evidence. Top Gun's Darkstar appears to be modeled after previous Lockheed renders of the SR-72. Top Gun: Maverick was a sequel some 36 years in the making, but in a way, Darkstar was a long-awaited sequel in itself. As we discussed when Top Gun's toy line first dropped in 2020, Darkstar bears a striking resemblance to previous renderings of Lockheed Martin's highly anticipated follow-up to the legendary SR-71 Blackbird, known to many simply as the SR-72. At the time, we had no idea that Lockheed Martin was involved with the film. Nevertheless, aside from the switch from a single vertical tail to a pair of them, the similarities were convincing enough to lead us to believe that Paramount at least had the SR-72 in mind when designing their fictional aircraft. And to make matters even more interesting, Lockheed Martin recently announced a significant success in testing the same sort of hypersonic propulsion systems leveraged by Darkstar in the movie, making the depiction of the Mach 10 aircraft seem a little less like science fiction and a little more like a glimpse into the near future. Hidden within the long list of hypersonic weapon programs drawing funds from Pentagon coffers, the Air Force Research Laboratory's Mayhem program may seem at first glance like just another missile effort, but it's actually aimed at developing the holy grail of hypersonic flight, a dual-cycle scramjet propulsion system capable of propelling larger payloads for longer distances than existing systems while taking off and landing like any other airplane. The Air Force's contract documentation does not specify the existing systems it's referring to. Although Mayhem is regularly referred to as a missile program, a closer look at the AFRL's issued request for information, ROI suggests Mayhem is more likely aimed at fielding an uncrewed, reusable hypersonic drone platform. The ROI released by the Air Force calls for a drone capable of conducting two different specified mission sets: strike operations and intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance, or ISR, missions. The Mayhem effort, however, aims to create dual-cycle engines that can function at low speeds until the aircraft is flying high enough and fast enough for the scramjet to take over, just like Darkstar is seen doing during Maverick's hypersonic test flight depicted in the movie. And as we mentioned before, Lockheed Martin is not only one of the few companies the Air Force Research Laboratory thinks could accomplish this feat, but has actually been leaving clues about a hypersonic SR-72 that looks like Darkstar for years now. In March of 2022, the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, Aerojet Rocketdyne, and Lockheed Martin conducted a successful flight test of the hypersonic air-breathing weapon concept, though the success wasn't reported until the following month to limit tensions between the United States and Russia. The test was actually the second success of the Hawk program, but the first of the Lockheed Martin scramjet system. A previous success, recorded in September of 2021, had come from the same Hawk program but had leveraged a Northrop Grumman-sourced scramjet. As we highlighted at the time, these successes suggest that the United States is now leading the way in fielding weapons that use these high-speed air-breathing propulsion systems. The United States has committed to only developing conventional, non-nuclear hypersonic weapons, which creates a number of challenges not found in the deterrent systems fielded by America's competitors. Perhaps the most significant one is targeting. Nuclear weapons have huge blast radiuses, allowing for less accurate weapons. A conventional hypersonic missile has to be far more accurate in order to destroy its intended target. While these non-nuclear hypersonic weapons can be strategically valuable, they are also incredibly expensive, which has led some to question the value of developing these missiles in the first place. After all, hypersonic weapons' claim to fame is the ability to defeat air defenses, but the same can be accomplished through a high volume of slower-moving, less expensive systems. If you overwhelm an enemy's air defense capabilities, some of your missiles will find their target, even when we're talking about subsonic cruise missiles like the Tomahawk. But a hypersonic strike aircraft could ferry less expensive, slower-moving weapons into enemy airspace at hypersonic speeds, preventing interception in the same way missiles do. Such an aircraft could deploy a low-cost conventional payload and then scram, jet out of harm's way to land and rearm. By doing so, you get all the offensive capabilities of hypersonics without having to deposit your shiny new scramjet in the foundation of your target's house. The Mayhem program is oriented toward building larger scramjets capable of flying larger payloads multiple times, and Lockheed Martin appears to have a finger in that pie. Darkstar may not be real, but its capabilities are. Hypersonic technology, or the ability to travel at 60 miles per minute or faster, is a capability our team continues to advance today by leveraging more than 30 years of hypersonic investments and development and testing experience.